Welcome everyone to another exciting edition of SecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative. I'm Karan, your host for today, and I'm thrilled to have you all joining us for this live webinar. Whether you are tuning in from India or across the globe, thank you for being part of our mission to strengthen cybersecurity and empower the digital Bharat. Today, we've got an incredible session lined up with a special guest who's a true expert in the field. We'll dive into a critical topic, engage in live poll, answer your burning questions, and we'll also participate and make this a fantastic experience. For those who don't know me, I'm Karan Sontake, Assistant Manager Marketing and Growth at SecureDApp. I'm an engineer and MBA. I'm a blockchain and cybersecurity enthusiast as well. My passion is bridging the gap between cutting edge security solutions and the community, and I'm excited to bring you insights from today's session. Now, let me pass the spotlight to someone far more interesting than me, our guest for today. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Shivakanth sir. Sir, can you please tell a bit about yourself?
I thought you will introduce me, Karan.
Yeah.
Well, uh, good evening, folks. Thanks for joining for today's webinar. I'm Shivakanth, having industry experience about more than 23 years in network security, data center, cloud security, and cyber security. I also contribute significant in various cyber security communities, and also chapter leader in ISC2 Bangalore, and active contributor for academic and various educational initiatives as well. Thank you. I think you will be knowing more when you go through my LinkedIn profile. I'll be sharing at the end of the session. Thanks, Karan. Back to you.
Yeah. So we are honored to have you, Shivakant sir. Thank you. And let's go forward with this session. Before we start this session, let's conduct a quick poll, audience poll. Can we please have that poll on screen? Kindly answer these questions so that you win the exclusive Secured App merchandise. Can we have, yeah. 20 seconds remaining. Okay. All right. So let's move ahead. So today's topic is cloud security in India, balancing scale, cost, and protection. In this webinar on cloud security in India, we'll explore how organizations can effectively secure their cloud environments while managing the challenges of scaling operations and controlling costs. India's cloud adoption is booming, but can your security strategy keep up? Join us to understand the latest strategies, tools, and best practices that ensure robust cloud protection without compromising efficiency or budget. Shivakant, let's kick things off. Could you please share your perspective on why this topic matters and what we'll be exploring today?
Sure, Karan. So let's look at this way. Um, India's cloud market is booming, right? So worth 7.8 billion, and it is constantly growing year on year at about 25%, right? And growth comes with a risk. And market research says most of the cloud organizations are facing more than 2,000 cyber attacks every year. So today we are not asking if cloud security is needed. We are here to talk about how to do it right. With that, welcome to today's session. I'm Shivakanth, I'll be walk you through the next 45 to 50 minutes how
Yeah.
India's cloud security evolution is going to take place, and what are the balanced way of doing cost, scale, and protection are more critical than ever. So this theme is great, and we're going to deep dive.
Yeah, sure. So, our guest speaker will now present on the important topic. Get ready to gain valuable insights into how organizations are managing security challenges while optimizing their cloud investments. Mr. Shivakanth, whenever you are ready, please feel free to begin your presentation.
Yeah, sure, Karan. I have started sharing. Hope you are able to see my screen. Let
Yeah,
me know when you're able to
yeah,
see it.
yes. Can you please make it full screen?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Can you see full screen?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Please go ahead.
Yes, it's blocking my screen. Okay. So as Karan said, today's theme would be cloud security in India, balancing scale, cost, and protection. It's a very vast topic, and the time what we have covering today, some of the good insights I try to capture and share it through this webinar. And this is very one disclaimer is the content is prepared based on the public forum and some of the research content. This is for only for educational and awareness purpose. Just keep that in mind when you are leveraging this content later point of time, just in case. With that, let's get into the topic. So what we are going to cover at broad level, the agenda for today look like how market growth and cyber risks are influencing Indian cloud landscape, and some of the economics and cloud security and their metrics, and what are the advanced threat intelligence and the real attack vectors, which is uh, influencing or limiting or some of the protection or defenses, how we need to leverage to protect the cloud security landscape. And compliance and regulations, you cannot eliminate this part. And organizations, it could be your some of the healthcare, fintech, and even industries, right? These days, our compliance and regulations are very critical, and government is enforcing a DPDP Act. Any digital form of information, if they are processing it, is mandate to follow the DPDP Act. And some of the important elements, how cloud roadmaps can leverage this DPDP, what is the model for implementation, and some of the cost elements we could look at there, and how emerging security technologies are helping for the protecting cloud landscape. This would be the agenda for today, and since it's a webinar, if you come across any questions, please park it and or drop it in a chat window. We will end of the session. We will look at those questions and try to answer as much as possible. Just moving on. From the cloud security landscape, from the Indian context, right? The uh, um, economic says 500 billion to 800 billion growth by 2030 is the projection. And today we are having 185 billion transactions UPI, right? Which is equivalent to 3 trillion USD. It's a per annum transactions. Government is behind this digitalization, UPI payments, and Aadhaar, right? And adopting a lot of cloud initiatives, which is basically improving the country's economy, right? So why most of the organizations or small medium enterprises are choosing cloud first, right? Because it is easier to leverage, faster, and pay for use, we say, and the more cost effective solution is available in today's market, and we something called like elasticity, right? What you can increase the resources as per your need, also you can minimize the resources. It's all depending on how much you really utilize the resources, that much only you're paying. That's where the cloud is become more popular, and it is more cost effective. That's the reason many organizations are going towards to the cloud. And it's not just doesn't mean that it is easier, but it also comes with some cost from the managing and uh, maintaining standpoint of view. If they're not well maintained, there are risks also involved, which would eventually data leaks and breaches that eventually lead to the penalties. So the projection says that since that adoption is very high, and we are contributing 20% of global data by end of this year is what. And when this data is significantly growing, we also need to look at the some of the security best practices, how we could protect the data. Otherwise, we will end up with the paying the cost. So I just want to give you a little real-time example, so that just to it could be vague probably, but why cloud is right to use, right? So for example, you're building a suit for your wedding, right? So olden days, what people used to go find a fabric, right fabric, go to the designer stitcher, then you have to stitch it, then it might look like what you expected, or some modifications are required. So there is a lot of iterations, a lot of effort finding materials, and so on and so forth, right? That's how the traditional on-prem look alike, right? So there are a lot more resource intensive, a lot more effort, and also a huge cost. If things are not come to your way, that may not be satisfying, giving a good satisfaction level, and it's an iteration process. But today, you just go to the ready-made designer suit shop, you pick, wear it, you like it, you take it, right? That is as simple as the cloud solutions are readily available. Only thing is, it also comes with a little bit cost when you driving towards security. So the biggest myth, people think that okay, I'm taken cloud, so cloud is he will take care of everything. But that's not the correct. When you're leveraging cloud, it's a shared responsibility model, right? It's very, very important for you to understand. It's a shared responsible, and who owns the application, data, and access. And he has equally need to take the responsibility for the ownership. So some of the service models, while cloud, when it comes to cloud, is the most happening service model, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. The picture depicts that the red dot indicates the user or customer responsibility, and the blue represents the CSP, cloud provider point of view, his responsibility. So you have Cloud Security Alliance framework, which will help you to map if you are leveraging some of the other service models like function as a service, like Azure Lambda, or AWS Lambda, or Azure Function, or be it the security as a service like Zero Trust, things like that. So when you have different service models, this Cloud Security Alliance framework will help you to figure out what responsibilities are your as a consumer is responsible, and what is the provider responsible. But in reality, the biggest concern when it comes to cloud, the misconfigurations are leading the concerns or breaches or incidents, right? For example, and every incident is costing an average of 12 crores. So know your responsibility, act accurately, deploy your security posture, correct the security posture, and ensure you also play a significant role to protect your data. So there are many cloud platforms available, but these are the three key players we keep referring as AWS, Azure, and cloud because of their service offerings or availability across the world, right? They're strong in presence, basically. And the market share, if you look at AWS, seems to be a leader in the market share, and followed by Microsoft and Azure and Google. So many organizations are using more than two cloud providers. We call it a multi-cloud tenancy because every cloud has a certain strengths and certain limitations, right? So people want to leverage the strength from a combination of these cloud providers and make their cloud posture is more uh, serving and cost optimizing for them. But this comes also the complexity of the security. So we have unified solutions in place for you to overcome this security gap while you enjoying multi-cloud benefits. Next, you have the some of these infrastructure available. Now the next is in traditional model we have like a SOC is a dedicated department. People will keep monitoring, alerting, and detecting, validating, and informing or giving an if required, they will invoke the incident response team, right? But when it comes to cloud, you have tools like Microsoft Defender, and there are a few multi-cloud if you're using Prism, or if your cloud native apps are using Wiz. These are the some of the recommended tools which could help you to get the visibility of your endpoints, and which also help you detect the any incident or threat or possible risk or anomaly or vulnerabilities. Detection rate is very quick. It is about 15 minutes, and response is also is quicker at 45 minutes, and it also ensures a false positive below 5%. This is one of the very critical element, false positive, because after doing all of them, if you it seems to be a false positive, then the efforts will be vain, right? So this is one of the good parameter to consider, because your efforts are in place and time savings also are taking place. So unified SOC reduces detection time 76% and cuts operation overhead 55%, because your manual efforts are significantly minimized when you have unified security operation centers in place. And some of the tools are a recommendation is given here. So based on the risk landscape and data points, I have bucketized 5 different risk elements here, depending on their scores, risk scores. So the least seems to be supply chain attacks. Here, people in cloud, they use containers, Docker, and Kubernetes. What happens here, the images are insecure and it is not happening enough scans before they are integrating to production, which is basically leading the incidents or breaches. Then insecure APIs. So what happens when you have, especially in financial or banking sector or healthcare, if you're not integrating a securely validated API, the risk it carries also, it imposes or reduces your existing security scores, and eventually it creates the it leads to a breach, right? So it is always advised you to use secured APIs so that you can still maintain your security posture and not fall into any of these fraudulent transactions or phishing attacks or malicious links exposing and things and so on. Then insider threats are scoring 11%, which predominantly people look at it very least because in normal tendencies, we always think that attack happens external. So most of them are key focus area or preventive measures will be looked at from the external point of view, right? So, but this malicious users or some of these insider threats are very difficult to identify or detect. The research says it is detection phase itself 212 days, which is quite huge. And during that period, people can do a bigger damage, right? So inside threat is also a significant area. People need to concentrate and protect. What kind of mechanisms we need to put it, and countermeasures need to be deployed to protect from this, that we are going to look at in the upcoming slide as well. So the biggest contributor is misconfigurations. It could be a lack of skills, not adequate training, awareness, and they don't know how to use them, right? So there are various reasons which is aggregate to misconfigurations, which is leading more concerns in the cloud. And the detection also, it is taking more time, because even the logging and yeah, also is improper logging is also adding to this. The next is IAM failures. Still, be it the cloud or on-prem, people are still using weak passwords. That is minimizing the security posture. Also, there are MFA features are available, but people don't use them because of the convenient or see, every these security comes with additional layer of taking more disciplined way of doing things, right? It adds delay. It creates some sort of discomfort when you do some of these security practices, be it at work or be it at personal, right? For example, waiting at a signal, right? So many people, how many people you think that in the early mornings or late night, a signal, red signal is stopping you, but how many people are, I mean, no one is there, no cop is there, roads are free, right? Just close your eyes and you're standing at the signal and red light is appearing and people just moving, right? So, and if you're a good security practitioner, you don't cross that line and you'll wait irrespective of the time, traffic. And so basically what I'm trying to drive the point here is it needs patience, it needs discipline, it needs, you need to give up your comfort and so on and so forth. So coming back to the MFA, MFAs are many people are offering, but how many people are really using two-factor, multi-factor authentication? Because every time they need to get authenticated, like multiple layers. So the research says that MFAs are, even though given, it is not adequately implemented, which is also leading this identity and access management failures. I hope I covered all of them. Karan, am I audible and you guys are able to hear me, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
So as we see these supply chain attacks, containers, just to extension to that, in cloud we use container and Kubernetes and Docker's images, and which is basically not adequately done testing before they're introducing to the production. The scans are not done properly. If you look at the pictures, there's so many risks. This is just a pictorial representation for you to understand how the scans will help, how the risks identification can help, what kind of the image strength and the overall assurance, and when you can use it, how you can push it, right? So the rollback access control will significantly help you to overcome this particular container or Kubernetes related security concerns in the cloud. And some of the parameters I have given here just for reference. And challenges basically is many Indian organizations use containers in production, but average vulnerabilities per container is significant, right? And Kubernetes misconfiguration is directly impacting production clusters and bringing down, which is reducing your number of hours downtime. Some of the productions are downtime, which lead to again unable to meet the supply and demand of your product timelines, right? So the solution is use RBAC implementation and have network policies in place and have micro segmentation. Basically, when you do a micro segmentation, you will localize the risk at a segment level, and it won't percolate to the at a larger extent. So that would be another control we are looking at. And secret management, still people are hard coding their secrets in the data stores or code itself, which is not acceptable anymore. You have key management systems, whichever cloud uh, offerings or whichever cloud provider you are using, they have dedicated key management systems, and it is advised you to leverage that and keep your keys and rotate your keys and log your key exchanges for audit trials. The next is, okay, we are talking about a lot of things, but how we can improvise the security for the cloud, right? It comes with cost. And if you are investing this cost, how you get the ROI? Is it my cost is worth, right? These are the things we will do it as part of a risk analysis and risk management portion, because you don't put a control or spend which is less worth than what you're protecting, right? So that is the basics. We still do it, but from the ROI calculation point of view, how it is helping. So when you spend every 1 rupee in improvising security posture in cloud, you're getting 4x protection from breach cost. That's how you need to look at it. And the research says that we still behind the recommended percentage. Still, enterprises are spending very low IT budgets for the cloud security than it is recommended for maturity level. So, if you look at the cost, right? What are the basic security, advanced security will cost? If not put, what is the breach occurs, data leak happens, ransomware attack happens, what are the huge amount you are incurred to pay. Just take it back, like during pandemic, just to give you an example, right? So how many people are concerned about taking an health insurance or term insurance, right? So, and even organizations are give health insurance, but their top ups are very limited. And so that was the eye opener for many people. And or in general, our human tendency is, unless people experience the risk, they don't value the importance of how to preventive and investing on preventive measures on the insurance and things like that, right? So how people are taking medical insurance, you also have a cyber insurances, right? That is also another protection layer. People can look at it. But my point here is, you need, when you are saving a majority of investments when you're going to cloud, because you don't fit for on-prem, which is more significant cost is involved. A little bit added expenses would help you to protect your data and overcome some of these breaches and compliance concerns, right? If you not meeting complaints and breach occurs, there are penalties are huge that we will look at it the subsequent slides. So some of the answer is managed security services, because everyone don't have the expertise when it comes to small, medium enterprises. Their IT teams, they don't have dedicated IT teams, right? So that's a scenario they go and outsource. Outsourcing to these people is not I mean, you should look at it as strategic way of transferring some of these responsibility to them and ensure you get your environment is secured. So market says that MSSP's market value is increasing at a constant growth. Currently, it is saying 1.2 billion, and still these SMEs are leveraging these managed security services. If you are going for managed security services, some of the services you need to look at it: SOC, incident response, and compliance management, vulnerability assessment. These are the topmost service offerings from the managed security service point of view, and a rough estimation costing I have provided here for you to get an idea if you are leveraging these services. Okay, good. You're asking to go for MSSPs, and if I want to choose what criteria I need to look at it before I'm selecting any of these service providers. There are many MNCs offering these services. Like managed services is nothing but managed. Previously, infrastructures as a managed services people used to provide NOC or SOC. Now it is an extension to security related services. There's nothing. I mean. They're still same, the old players, they keep increasing the service offerings, which is specific to cloud and cybersecurity. So you need, when you're choosing any of these providers, it is for you to consider 15 minutes for critical assets for the response time. They're less than 15 minutes, right? And are they certified? It could be ISO 27000 or SOC 2 Type 2 mandatory. So because they are quality of service, which is ensure that they are good in terms of the some SLAs, MOAs, and things like that. And they have certain compliance requirements because CERT is enforces 6 years breach notification. So they should be aware of those CERT norms. And threat intelligence regional threat suites are integrated, because when you're leveraging the services, you're in India and you're taking from out of India, they may not have the relevant threat intel as a feeder. So you should recommend. I mean, it's recommended to you go in the where you're present, and that regional threat intel feeds are up to date, so that you are covered max. I mean, your environment covered max. So we have seen cloud security, cloud offerings, service models, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. So many SaaS applications people, when these SaaS applications are developing and publishing, and as a customer, I'm leveraging, there is significant access limitations. There are data leaks are happening, and there no proper monitoring usage is not happening, and basically it is not in a controlled way for me. So the cloud access security broker will bridge that gap between the consumer and the provider. There are different type of deployment models, that's API based and proxy based. The both comes with different there is slight coverage space. Like if you look at API based, it is covering 95% and proxy is 100. And because proxies is a bit deeper inspection or makes you as a proxy, right? So the latency is slightly higher in the proxy based implementation, but both are still acceptable range, right? What it really help, like even though you have these application shadow IT people, they bring that non-IT normed apps, which is adds some of these malwares and so on, because you don't have control what people are using, and your data leak are still is happening because they may connect the. It's not. I mean, it could be intentional, may not be intentional, but people can transfer data to their emails, some the drives, and just connect the thumb drives and take the data, right, and so on and so forth. So by using this, you will come to know these some of these misuses, and you can restrict and prevent these data leaks. And it also gives you the accuracy from the detection point of view. So some of the players and SaaS models, just for your information. Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, basically how people are adopting these SaaS applications for their day-to-day business, and so on and so forth. Next, moving on to identity and access management advanced implementation. So the traditional IAM is basically a single sign-on that is nowhere is meeting the security norms at today's technology enhancements like AI, ML, and AI is so much influencing, right? So now it is AI-driven continuous verifications. This also comes as a plugin to identity and access management, but the advancements comes with again added cost, right? So some of the different level of IAM implementation models I have given here for your consumption, and the more advanced it will comes with more deeper analysis with the technology and continuous verification, and but the adoption is very less at 3% because it is cost intensive. And basic is single sign-on on basic MFA, multi-factor authentication, which is widely people are using at 34%. You have other models. It's all depending on what segment you are in, what business you are in, your what you're protecting, and business value. Depending on that, people look at it, these models and leverage. And what I'm okay, if I am investing, what is my ROI, right? So today, if you look at password reset in a traditional model, it is costing 2,400 per user annually. And imagine if you have a huge volume of users, how much it is going to cost you, right? And similarly, it is helping you to minimize a reduction of security instance because you proper authentication in place, authorization in place, then your loggings are accurate and there is no privilege escalation or creep. Then all these things are as a indirectly helping you minimize the instance, right? And also protects from the different level of accessing various resources, right? So that's where your identity and access management will significantly reduce the instance. And compliance audit time is also everything is logged here, so your audit trials are clear, and the human efforts are significantly minimized. So the reduction of effort is also uh, significantly helping from the audit standpoint of view. Next, coming to how we can protect the data, right? So data encryption and ensuring your confidentiality of data in cloud. We say you encrypt the data, right? But the ideal way of encrypting data is both rest and transit, right? But people are doing it silos. If they're doing it rest, they're not doing it transit. If they're in transit, they're not doing it rest. That's what the data points are saying. But it is essential, one, to protect their data, they need to encrypt both rest and transit. And key management maturity is still below these scores, very low. People are, as we saw in the previous slides, they are, because of the convenience or traditional way of doing, still they are storing in the core itself, or saving those keys in the data stores itself. But that's not acceptable. And you have every provider has a key management solution. If you look at Azure, you have a key wallet. Google Cloud has another key management solution, and AWS also has a key management system. So of course, yes. So when you're storing them, it is like your bank locker, right? So locker won't give in free of cost, right? It comes with annual maintenance, and you need to pay for that cost because you are saving your crown jewelers there or important stuff there, right? So when it comes to data keys, these are the encryption keys which will protect you from the ransomware, right? So if your data is gone, the entire business can collapse, and there are situations, right? So key management also plays a significant role, and it is recommended to leverage your provider key management system and rotate those keys for the more security, and log whenever you're making these exchanges for audit trials. not using default keys anymore because it is easy to crack. Or so some of the real world breach and other case studies, these breaches are occurred just because of a very, it could be misconfiguration. It's not taken the existing vulnerabilities so much serious, or they have not done the patch update on time, right? So these are the issues happen with very minute actions. If they would have taken on time corrective measures or right configurations, not to perform misconfigurations, they would have prevented some of these breaches, right? So the point here is every breach is occurring just because of either it could be negligence, or it could be misconfiguration, or it could be not taken a right action recommended, or you don't have a right tool to notify, identify, or detect. So in cloud security or any security, right, you need a right tools, right people, process, and technology, and people, we say, right? When you have all these systems and policies and procedures in place, you can easily overcome these breaches. When any of these breaches are occurring, you will spending a huge amount of no amounts. Like if you look at this fintech, 47 crores, they how much cost it is, losing the business, right? Similarly, 72 hours of downtime for manufacturing, they would have disrupted very badly because they can't meet the supply and demand, and that lag would impact for their upcoming orders, right? So all these things are directly relating to your business, and when you are risks are handleable situations, and you could do it at a minimal costs with improvising your security posture to overcome these breaches is what point to drive. Coming to compliance and regulations, now Indian government is very strict and mandating DPDP Act. People using cloud and processing personal data, they are aligned to the DPDP Act, right? And if like fintech is processing financial information, education department, if the student data records, or social media, exchanging the personal information in the social medias, and wherever basically in digital format people are leveraging personal data, they need to align with the DPDP Act. Otherwise, if they not taken the consent or not maintain the records, which as suggested in the DPDP norm, then they are liable to the violation. The violation cost would be 50 crores max, or if the breach occurs, it is up to 250 crores from the business point of view. What is the sensitive data they are concerned about? It could be healthcare record or financial information, people biometric, and children's data from the education point of view, and so on and so forth. So have your consent is taken whenever you're collecting data, and it is customer or consumer is agreeing for retention period. If not, you need to wipe that information. So the implementation timeline for the DPDP, you have data mapping. That's one of the critical area. What is the what data you need to really secure, and from once the data from where you have collected that data, are the consents are aligned to that. That's the consent system space, and some of the technical measures you're going to protect this data, like encryption or hashing or and things like that. Then a complete audit to ensure that entire system is in place and working as expected. So this is the complete life cycle of DPDP implementation phases, and some of the layers, how the cost is involved for every layer to deploy. Certain guidelines and operation requirements is another government or compliance category. Like certain is computer emergency response team, especially in India. It is managed and maintained by Ministry of Electronics and Communication Department. Right, they are responsible to notify the. I mean, you need to notify the any cyber cloud security or cybersecurity breach to them, and they will in turn work and ensure that it leads to a resolution, right? So it's from the government regulation point of view. So the mandatory requirement is 6 hours within the breach. You must report the incident, and if you fail to do that, then the 1 crore penalties for non-complying to that. And you should have an incident response in-house as must, which has the NIST guidelines, detection, containment, and recovery and forensics reports, and so on and so forth. You need to secure as much as evidence you have collected. And log retention is minimum 180 days you need to maintain, and 7 years if it comes to financials. And you should do a quarterly audits and share it if they ask, right? And some of the cloud-based tools are available for you to meet some of these criteria, like Splunk and yeah, I mean Azure Sentinel and all can help you. Karan, you're able to follow me, right? I'm audible and clear, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we saw in the previous slide the multi-cloud tendency, or people are leveraging multi-cloud because they want to optimize the cost and resources, or leverage the strength from the multi-cloud offerings, right? So when you have this multi-cloud tendency, Prisma will help you to. It's basically a unified platform. Gives you a larger end-to-end visibility and manageability. And for that, multi-cloud people are using, they can leverage the Prisma Cloud tool, and which will help you for the cloud native apps. If you are using cloud native, which would be the recommended tool. There are cloud specific, provider specific tools, which what are the strengths and what significantly it help you. These are the what you're basically looking at, right? If your data, you input about 500 GB in this case, right? You are inputting a 500 GB and you want a deep inspection, then you should go with Sentinel, right? And if your data classification is something you're looking, then you should aim with AWS Maze. Something you're optimizing your configurations. There are 150 set of rules are available, and most of them automation remediations can help. Then you should go with the AWS config tool. So these are the tools are available, and you need to pick and choose what it help you to improvise your cloud security posture. So we saw when the threat or risk landscape or threat landscape, we discussed about insider threats, right? So how the countermeasure, how to overcome these insider threats is something we have behavioral insider threat analytics, behavioral detection, UBA we say. So how it is helping, this is in place. You have faster detection, and it is bringing the detection timelines from 212 days to 23, which is very, very, very significant. And it also cuts the false positive by 76% to enforce the accuracy of the information which is given. So, which also works like, basically take an example. There are certain parameters is set to the this analysis. For example, the next person is working in an organization. He is not supposed to work, or his shift ends by 9 to 5, right? But he still has an access to his. He come back home late night, 11 o'clock. He is logging in, right? So it flags one. Basically, it adds some score, right? Then he accessing some some of the data which is not intended, right? Then it adds some more score, right? And he clicks a file, right? And then he adds some more score. So there are basically whenever a user is taking certain actions which is not supposed to, or he's trying to delete some record, he's trying to modify something which is not supposed to in his preview, right? These are the behavioral aspects what we think, because we don't, some of these things cannot be detected as easier as possible, and these behavior analytics can monitor these elements and add certain score, and once it meets that threshold, it will block his access and flag it to the his management, and the subsequent questions or analysis and things will be asked, and to further look at the actuals of that instant. So the point here trying to say is the behavior analytics will help you to protect from insider threats, and Microsoft Defender, Splunk, and these are the tools would be handy, and it gives a accuracy of detection, and also anomaly files access and logins will be created for further investigations. The king of security, I would say, the zero trust. It means never trust, always verify with the least privileged access, right? So when you're not trusting anyone and you ask to verify his prove it, you have an access, right? Before you granting access is what zero trust means. But it is quite expensive in terms of the tooling or deployment model. Because of the granular inspection it does, it enforces an MFA. It also takes the different location people, how they are using, what they are using. It works on microsegmentation. It filters DNS, and some of the deep inspections it performs, right? So that's the reason it's quite costly. If you want to do it complete a deployment, it would cost you close to 8 crores, depending on the size and business model. And you can ROI, you can easily get it from year to year and a half, and complete deployment it takes for about 3 years. And the current research says only 23% of organizations only adopting zero trust, because of the cost is the primary reason. So what it benefit gives is it's less management overhead, because many things is automated. You need not to depend on human resources. So that saved human resources, you could use it for some of your other productive or innovative works. And there are slight latency increase because the deep inspection and different layers of inspection is happening. So, but still it is at acceptable level. And audit scope prediction, because every action here logged and recorded. So you have a readily available audit trials are available. So it is also helping reducing audit scope, and 94% less lateral movement. So zero trust is basically helps you that privilege creep don't happen, right? So privilege creep is one of the biggest concern for many organizations. It could be insider, it could be external attack. People are, once they're getting into the system, they can find a ways to get their privilege escalations. So when you have escalated privileges, you have much more granular access, and which would eventually create a bigger damage, right? So the least privileges ensure that end user, what he is intended, how much access, how much authorization he has, what set of resources only he can access, what time he can access, what time he can't access. These are the some of the parameters. It is clearly defined and followed. And whoever it might be, is a boss or super boss or CEO or a normal user, everyone has to prove their credentials or prove their trust before they get the access. That's what zero trust means. Some of the cloud security myths, what facts and what are the myths, we're going to burst them in this slide. Cloud compliance complex, but it's not true because you have many certifications in place. Its only thing is depending on the business and the segment we are in, you need to compliance with those certifications. With that, you could meet your compliance, and many of the tasks are automated and audit times also saved. So from the compliance is what you need to have a proper audit, and you need a more efforts to do this audit process, and you also need to get certified with certain bodies, right? So if you can able to meet these criteria, no cloud is not a compliance complex, right? Then cloud security expensive. No, if you look at traditional on-prem investments compared to that, the tools investment what you're doing is still very less than what your on-prem investments. So cloud security expensive is another myth. And multi-cloud risk. It's you don't. I mean, it's again a mindset. It's multi-cloud risk in the sense because the people are using multi-cloud tenancy. The complexity it is bringing. But if you're leveraging unified management tools, what we discussed in the previous slide, still you could maintain your security posture well and gain the what benefits multi-cloud gives, the productivity and the cost effectiveness. Cloud less secure? No, that's again another myth. Cloud investments are increasing year on year, and the actual fact is the incidents or breaches are occurring just because of its misconfigurations, and of course because of that it could be called as less secure. But it's from the cloud point of view, it's not about less secure. It's the way how you adopting, how you're using, how you're managing is matters. Last not but least, cloud auto backups. So for example, most of them are used Google Photos, right? So there is a backup feature. It won't happen by default. You need to enable the toggle key and ensure that you need to give it, basically you need to enable that feature of auto backup. Same thing applies in the cloud also, right? So any feature you need to explicitly enable, then only it works. Same thing applies for the cloud backups, but people has a misconception that okay, I have taken cloud, so it takes care of everything. My data is day one, it is backed up. But reality is not known. It's no. So you need to explicitly enable and choose what what data you're getting need to be backed up. Or if you take OneDrive, you need to copy every content in your OneDrive so that the data gets synced to OneDrive and available in cloud, right? The another mistake in traditional model or cloud, people don't test the backups. They don't have testing backup strategy in place. Because of that, most of the times when you restore the backups, it fails, and that's where you encounter your backups are not successful. So you should have a right backup testing strategy and log that entry and leverage them. The backups are readily available, store them in secure. And if not cloud, it won't be that way, but in reality, testing of backs and ensure the backups are taken care well and it works when it is needed is also equally important. Thus the fact it's not cloud backup, cloud auto backups is not the right statement. So threats are evolving. So you need some of these threat modeling will significantly help you to minimize your threat landscape is what threat modeling does. So we have there are multiple frameworks like Stride, Ride, Pasta, and so on and so forth. And Microsoft Stride is widely used, which is enforce a designing phase itself and map all your systems to these parameters and figure out is it vulnerable to spoofing? Is there any data can be tampered in this? Or is there any reputation elements are there? Or there are chances to information disclosure, or any elements can be hit to DDoS, which will lead your uptime or availability, right? And is there any elevation of privileges, right? It's not given the right set of the access controls, right? So these are the parameters against to this. People are mapped and tested and called out those gaps and filled with corrective measures and controls at designing phase itself. That's where the Stride threat modeling will help you to make your security posture stronger. The Cloud Security Posture Management, CSPM, is widely used for basically when you have a large cloud deployment models, multi-cloud you're leveraging, then your utilization is very high, right? Your endpoints are huge. The data it generates are enormous, right? So with this CSPM, it will granular information provides, and it improves your productivity, and the overall security posture, how it is, where to take, where to remediate, where to take actions, what is your risk areas, what is the vulnerabilities, right? The overall posture management, the name itself says that, right? Posture management, the overall security posture improvisation, the cloud security posture management will help you. And this is also growing very significantly, and markets are taking up year on year. Indian adoption also significantly increased from 22 to, from there it is keep growing. What it has a predefined policies and templates which will scan and give you the results then and there, and a lot of automation, auto remediations, self-heal it provides, and it inspects the complete attack path and gives a detailed analysis. That's the beauty of the cloud security posture management. We have some of these top tools which would really help you to leverage this particular concept. Then advanced cloud incident response playbook. So as we looked at insert, every cloud organization, either you should have, your provider or your MSSPs should have incident response, because when incident occurs, you have identified, detected, and analyzed and reported to the concerned department. So that's where your incident response, prior to incident, post incident, and what kind of lessons you learned, and how you have restored the service, and these lessons, how it is helping for you to not to repeat the same incident, right? So that's where your incident response team or response plan or response playbook basically brings more like automation kind of thing. So these are things will help you to faster incident recovery. Right, cloud incident response statistics shows the 4.2 hours. It is well controlled because CERT says 6 hours is the reporting timelines, right? Because cloud it is easy to achieve at within 4.2 hours, and the recovery time says that less than 2 hours for critical business, which is very significant saving from the business point of view, and securing the customer trust and brand reputation. So we are seeing the technology evolution, how AI and ML is shaping up, and here every technology comes with plus and minuses. From the attacker standpoint of view, they keep evolving the bad ways to damage the systems. But from ethical professionals, from the cybersecurity practitioners, we need to leverage what strengths we could use it. From the cloud point of view, what enhancements are some of these tools bringing to improvise the cloud security uh, posture or cloud security much more robust, right? So the biggest thing is when you have more endpoints, more devices, it could be cloud or on-prem, it generates n number of logs and data points, right? So for human aspects, it is very difficult for you to look at all the logs, right? So log aggregation, your AI can help you, right? And faster detection, which can be, and with a great accuracy, right? And it reduces the time to detection, right? And it can automate takes as a feeders from the some of these templates, techniques, or proven methods from some of the threat intel inputs, and minimum, I mean, compare with that and give you the ensure false positives are minimized, right? And it also tells you predictive analytics and with a great accuracy to predict whether it is going to be a concern or not, right? So these are the benefits, you I would say, leveraging artificial intelligence or machine learning in cloud, for especially from the threat detection point of view. And some of the players are already there integrated these feeds, and Sentinel, for example, daily it can monitor 500 GB of data and can give you the insights or dashboards. And Splunk comes with 30 plus ML algorithms, Splunk toolkit. And CrowdStrike, it helps you real-time endpoint detection and behavioral analytics, and it can give you a broad uh, dashboards which you could take the corrective measures. So one another disclaimer here: it's not that I'm not promoting any provider or tool specific. It is just for give you an understanding. For example point of view, we just quoting these providers and the tools. So it is you to do further research, get your use cases and what it fits for your right business, and choose accordingly, and move on from there. It is just for you to get a fair idea, is what we are discussing here. So next technology advancement is quantum safe cryptography. The way the quantum is shifting is phenomenal. The computer power is increasing, way high, and that's where there is concern. The more secure cryptographic algorithm is at stake, and expected 10 to 15 years it can be absolute, right? And the quantum cryptography can at the moment they're saying it's, if you want to break it, you need required 300 trillion years, because it's all the size of the keys or signatures are huge. Because of that, the computational power is very high, so the breaking of these keys or signatures are quite cumbersome, right? So that's where NIST is already approved some of these cryptographic post-quantum cryptographic algorithms, but it is quite expensive, very expensive and advanced. Some of these leaders is already started investing their stake in the post-quantum cryptography, and the timelines they have given, they are at POC state is what I see. By 2027 complete support they are promising. So how it going to look like future of cloud security in India? Some of the vision for 2030 is looking at 1 trillion digital economy targeted by 2030. 5G we are catching up, and that will bring more endpoints. And when you have more endpoints, you have your risk also, it is significantly increased. So you need to have proper security best practices deployed there also. Edge computing is growing, your IoTs and be it smart homes, everything is smart these days, right? Smart cities, smart devices, smart. So edge computing is also is growing very high year on year. And the quantum computing investments the government is doing uh, uh, is what I found because of to overcome these uh, post quantum cryptographic analysis. So, what is the target industries? Healthcare, financial sector, manufacturing, telemedicine, all these smart factories. These are the target industries which would add to this vision. So, every organization is advised to take the right security measures and have the digital safe India. Strategic recommendations: build resilient multi-cloud architectures, use unified solutions, faster public-private partnership, and don't limit to only one side of the uh, river kind of thing. And organizations should develop quantum readiness plans, invest in AI security, and catch up with technology. So, some of the key takeaways from the implementation road point of view: there is no fixed structure as such. Basically, I gave short, mid, and long term milestones depending on their ease of implementation and cost. Considering these two parameters, I have categorized these. But you can still pick it up what you it meets your requirement and suits well, right? So long term is you can go with zero trust and quantum safe preparation and some of these AI security analytics tools. You can target that. And immediate and low hanging fruits like MFA implementation. See whether your provider is already giving the MFAs, and so that you can leverage and enforce the MFA and ensure your cloud configuration scans are happening in a periodic way, and look at the dashboards and take the corrective actions, and ensure your teams are trained well and security awareness is brought in, educated, so that they don't end up doing any misconfigurations or respond to any phishing attacks, right? And midterm, look at how you can prevent data loss prevention, introduce DLP or CASB or identity governance. You deepen your identity access management levels, what we look at from basic to advanced, and deploy SIEM or SOAR solutioning so that you can you can aggregate your log and take corrective actions when it need arises. With that, we come to an end for today's session. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me. Over to you, Karan. If you have any further to connect or want to exchange thoughts, this is my LinkedIn ID. You can post some of your collaboration further. I'm happy to do that. Yeah, over to you, Karan. Thank you.
Yeah. So before we take some questions from the audience, and we have also received questions prior to the session. So let us have a quick second poll, so that we can decide the winners of this session. Can we have that on screen?
Yeah, I do have one poll questions. I hope it is useful and informative. And any thoughts on that? So
yeah, you can put it in the chat, audience. How did you? What are your thoughts on this presentation? Also, our backend team, can we please have the second poll on screen right now?
This is not typically okay. You're just asking. Okay, this is for the audience.
Right.
Okay.
Let us move ahead with the questions that we have received. So, So Shivakant, with your extensive experience, more than 23 years at that, what common misunderstandings or pitfalls do Indian businesses often encounter regarding the cloud security responsibilities, and how can they better align with their cloud providers?
So I think we already discussed this, right? So you basically have the proper SLAs and MOUs, right? So prior to that, uh, who is owning what, and that's where you need to derive, and and accordingly you define your service level agreements and uh, memorandum of understanding. So these two things would significantly help you, because tomorrow your provider can't say that they are not agreed to it, right? So there is a mutual understanding between you and the provider. So one, what you're accountable, and what from the sometimes if you look at some of these services you outsource, still the ownership lies with the uh, from the customer or consumer point of view. So that you need to have proper, okay, to cut short and give the answer, SLS and MOS uh, are the important elements for you to deal with these kind of situations.
Right. So moving on to the next one, Shivakant, can you please stop sharing the screen so that we can have a better view at
Yeah,
you?
sure. I just want to show one more bonus slide. Just
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
you can view it, right?
Yes, yes, yes. That was one
Yeah.
of the that was one of the questions. So
Okay. So
certification.
yeah, so there are many resources available from various platforms. That's what I have mentioned here. You have a CSA Cloud Security Guidance document. Then OSP Top 10 specific to cloud applications are available. Then NIST Cybersecurity Framework is another great resources for cloud, right? So these are the some of the technical resources you can look at it. And people who are very cloud career, if they're looking cloud as a career, there are a number of certifications, because certifications is what makes you differentiate from others. And you have entry, mid, and advanced certifications. There are also generic, broader coverage certifications and advanced certification, or it also has a specific provider specific. If you have Azure, you have a number of entry, mid, or expert and architect level. Similar certifications are available at Amazon and Google Cloud, Kubernetes, and so on and so forth. So basically, you need to pick the what you want it to be, and build your certification portfolio accordingly. Don't mix and do it. That won't help you unless you have the organization need. But if you are very starting and cloud focused, then take one stream, do it. And then because many concepts are similar in terms of the, if you go with the cloud specific certification, but the namings and terminologies are slightly differ from the depending on the service offerings. We also recommended to join some of the chapters and attend some of these conferences, forums. There are WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, right? There are tons of information and networking opportunities out there. Be there and show up and learn, gain as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to you, Karan.
Yeah. So I hope the audience, the questions that were coming in regarding the certifications, I hope these are cleared. Can the screen be stop be sharing?
Yeah,
This
sure.
Okay. Thank you. I will ask audience, did you participate in the second poll, or do you want on the screen again? Can you please quickly tell us your responses in the chat? I hope I got some complaints. Yeah, I hope everything is okay. Did you participate? Can you please type in yes? Audience, come on. All right, all right, all right. And also, please share your feedbacks regarding how did you find the PPTs, and please ask some questions. We are taking the questions right now. Shivakan
Uh,
sir,
yeah.
I would like to ask you, did you research on the Bybit hack that happened recently in the blockchain domain?
No.
Yeah, so many people were saying that it was that hack,
Your voice is
humans
breaking,
actually.
Karan. It is for me or for everyone? I'm not sure. I can't hear you clearly.
Okay, all right. Am I audible right now? I
You're
hope I'm
audible,
audible
but
right
it
now.
is breaking. Okay, go ahead.
The Yeah, so the behavioral aspect
Mhm.
basically, how can trainings be provided better so that the humans, as they say, can't be hacked? Can you please elaborate a bit on that?
So, take any model, right? Especially ML, the more patterns you make it learn, right? It needs the feeders, more feeders, and what you're uh, seeing as misbehavior and what is a genuine behavior. You need to define those parameters and l- train the model as much as possible. So the better it is learned and given the feeds more, and the more accurate information you get it. Any AI models, right? So it's all depending on what you feed in.
All right. So moving on to the next one. From your leadership at the ISC2 Bangalore Chapter, what key advice would you give Indian organizations aiming to balance scalability, security, and cost efficiency in their cloud journeys?
So it's not like it's all context and business specific, right? We can't tell that in a very broader level. For a broader level only, we have discussed the what are the challenges, how we can secure, what are the measures. So that's what we have, talked about plus 1 hour plus, right?
Right.
So you need to uh, note down the what is your problem statement, what business problem you are solving, where what is your current security posture, right? And what are the and you that comes with proper risk assessment. Prior to assessment, what is your critical assets and uh, critical processes, right? You need to identify, then do a proper risk assessment and look at your current security posture, what measures are there, what is not there. Then you come to a delta that you will look at whether you do it automation or in manual or you adopt the cloud, right? So it's all depending on the business context and the problem what you're solving.
Right. So, before we take the audience questions that are in the chat box right now, any concluding remarks from you, Shivakan?
No, I enjoyed and thanks for the Shivling, Abhishek, Karan, and the SecureDApp Bharat initiative for having me here and getting this opportunity to share some of my learnings and knowledge in this forum. I enjoyed and I had a great time. I hope you also enjoyed and informative.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pleasure, Shivakan sir, to have you here. And let us take a couple of questions that audience have asked us. So Pushpak is asking, as we see automation in cybersecurity field, so is it still something which AI can't do in security and need a human to handle such issues?
So it's always a balanced approach, right? So it's not that everything A do it or everything. We are taking A assistance to minimize some of the human intensive tasks, right? We have also discussed like you have 1,000 alerts. If a user want to drill through all the 1,000 alerts and see what is correct, what is not correct, right? It is taking a huge amount of time. right? So that's where the mission or system will help you to reduce that effort and help the human to do his productive way of doing things better. So, so you need to see where you will differentiate, because you have the creative and taking decision on. Mission won't take a decision it is on. What you give as a command, based on that it works. That's where you differentiate from the AI and the human, right? So we still has a strong capabilities and decision making, creative elements. You need to focus on that and see how you can add value, and while leveraging AI or systems to improve your productivity. You should look at it that way.
Right. And a quick comment we are seeing from Umang Mehta has commented uh, that the session has highlighted important points: people versus process, outside office hours, lateral movement, behavior analysis. He would like to add whitelisting versus AI behavior failures. Can you please touch upon this?
Like to add whitelisting versus AI
AI
behavior.
behavior failures.
Yeah, thanks, Umang. See, whitelisting is basically you tell this is my scope. These are the apps which is advised to use it. Beyond that, you don't allow any non-whitelist, blacklisted basically apps. So you're reducing the scope and ensuring only secure apps are used or installed. That's what whitelisting and AI behavior failures. So if the model is not able to understand what is whitelist, what is blacklist, right? Then there is a possibility of flagging whitelisted apps also as a concern. That's where I see AI can misbehave.
All right. So I hope the audience have got the answers. So we are coming to the end of this session. Shivakanth Pavan Kumar, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your incredible insights on cloud security in India, balancing scale, cost, and protection. Your expertise has given us a lot to think about and act upon. Any final words for our audience? Shivakan?
No, I think I enjoyed, and thanks for spending time on the Friday evening. It's both sides, a mutual always. It's not just we are talking. People also showing up and encouraging these kind of sessions also is important. And I congratulate for the Bharat initiative for doing such more and more such initiatives and helping communities. Thank you so much to all. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure, totally, Shivakant sir. We hope to have you back soon in session two of SecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative. And a huge thank you to all of you, our amazing audience, for tuning in and making this webinar so interactive. Your engagement drives our mission at SecureDApp to build a safer digital India. I would also like to say thank you to SciSec, Cybersecurity Wing of Karnataka Government, owned and managed by ISC Bangalore, CCOE Hyderabad, and Jinserve Incubation for coming forward as partner and co-host for this special initiative. If you enjoyed today's session, please hit that like button and subscribe to SecureDApp's YouTube channel. With this final episode, SecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative Season 1 comes to an end. Thank you all for your support and love.
One sec. Can we have one picture to be taken if people are okay to on their
Yeah,
cameras, and can we take one picture?
yeah,
So
sure.
basically we can use it in
Yeah, can
social media.
everyone switch on your camera if possible, please?
Hi, Umang. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. So, All right. All
How
right.
can I get my screen visible? Can you do that? Switch over kind of thing. You just take a small pic.
Yeah. I would also request our backend team to take a quick snapshot of this. And yeah. So this was our final session, and we are coming to the end of SecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative Season 1. And I would like to announce that the Season 1 has officially come to an end. Thank you all for your support and love shown. We should be back with Season 2 of SBSI soon. Till then, stay safe online, keep learning. See you next season of SecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative. On behalf of SecureDApp and its Bharat Security Initiative, this is your host and host Karan signing off. Take care.